subprogramming, we are going to discuss about it. So subprogrammings, there are two types are there. Subprogramming, both the differences between the subprogramming and function also we can discuss about it. So for now, I am going to explain that what is a procedure, what is the syntax of the procedure. I can explain to you here. So procedure here, procedure may contain an input value or may not contain an input value, and procedure contains two different type of inputs. One is an input, and if you want to get out of the output out of the procedure means we can call it as a data type, we can call it as an output. So we can show one by one how to write a procedure. So basic procedure, if you want to write it, I can show an example. Create procedure emp as begin and select start from. So this is a already named, sorry, emp is already there. So emp sp underscore, yeah. And one more thing, if you want to make sure that sp underscore, if you write it stored procedure, we'll call it as an sp. So better to keep it as a mention as sp. And if any project specific, for example, in your project there are multiple modules are there. So in each module you want to segregate, okay, this type of procedure is for something, this one, the other type of procedure is for some other module, so that you can mention the module name also here. After that, whatever the procedure name you want to get it, I am, this procedure name is like emp, get emp. So that's why this procedure called as an sp, what are the module name, get emp. So now the procedure is completed. So to run the procedure, how we are going to run the procedure, we are going to run the procedure using an exec, execute procedure. What is that? Okay, sorry, again I given a wrong. So I given the procedure name as emp, that is not the procedure name, this is the procedure name. So we are going to execute the procedure name here. Okay, so procedure is in a pre-compiled program, so that the whenever we are trying to execute a procedure, already it is pre-compiled in the SQL server, so that it runs faster. Okay, compared to your whatever, if you want to write it your own programming like this, if you want to write it like an anonymous programming, it has to be recompiled and it has to be executed. But this case it is already pre-compiled, so that it will be executed faster. Yeah. So far we saw that the procedure which does not have any input parameters, procedure is nothing but like any function in the any programming language. It's like a function method, I can say. But don't confuse it. Again, if I say function means okay, this function is procedure, don't confuse it. Like in a method, I can say it. So if you write in a void in any programming language, it's a void means it won't return anything. So this is called a void programming. So void method. So it won't return any value. Okay. Now I am going to show another procedure which will take an inputs and it gives an a value. So here I am going to write a procedure called create procedure sp underscore, I want to sp underscore emp by id. So I want to pass as an employee id as an input. So based on the input, I want to emp id, I want to get the query result for that particular employee. That is my goal here. So the same procedure as begin end, that's it. Only thing is like at the end emp is there, right? Here again we are going to try it where emp number is equal at the rate emp id. Okay, so like this we are going to pass it. So now I'm going to execute the procedure. Procedure is successfully executed. If you want to execute this procedure, so there are two types of executions are there in procedure. One is like exec is there, or else you can execute, we can do it. So example, we can execute it. So this is the previous procedure, I'm just executing for your purpose. Now I want to execute this procedure. This procedure has some input parameters. So this procedure has some input parameters. So if you want to execute this procedure, there are different ways we can give it. One is like you can give it as an input parameter as 1001. This is an employee ID, so I'm giving as an input here. So automatically I got output of this. In case if I pass the value of 5 here, I should get the employee number of 5, Ajay. So this is way of executing. procedure. There are two ways. One is exec and execute. The another thing is like procedure having an input parameters and as well as without input parameters. These are the two differences between this. And I'm going to explain you another type of procedure. It is called as an output parameter. So I can show you that in the output parameter. I'm going to, in the interest of time, I'm trying to copy the existing procedure. I think you're aware of that how to do this. Just get EMP salary. Here instead of getting employee, I want to get EMP salary of this employee. So I'm just passing as an EMP ID. So here what I'm trying to do is along with this EMP ID, I'm trying to pass another one like sal money output. So this particular output parameter I passed it. So in the output parameter I passed it. In this output parameter, I'm going to already you are aware of this at the rate sal is equal to, so I'm setting up this salary to this variable. So here I am not printing anything, just to make sure that I want to showcase you how we are going to execute the output parameter in the procedure. So here so far we are given like this. Now if you want to do this, so input parameter directly you can give like this. So but to give an output parameter we have to declare that output parameter value. Again I am declaring a variable emp sal emp, sorry, declare at the rate emp sal money. So here I declared a value, so I'm just passing it as an output parameter here. The second parameter is output parameter here, and I'm executing, I mean I'm just printing this value, printing at the rate emp sal. So if you can see in the previous output we did not see any output, because if you are specifying any output parameter in case of writing stored procedure, yes, we have to specify it what is this input parameter or an output parameter. If it is input parameter, you don't need to specify that as an specifically it's an input, but in case of output we have to specify it. The same way, while executing the same stored procedure, we have to specify it as an a declare as an a output parameter. This is where we have to do it. Now if you can see, this employee salary has been printed here as an output parameter. Next, so far we saw that in stored procedures we saw only the select queries. I want to show how to do any insert queries in the stored procedure. This is the stored procedure. Insert a department. I'm just passing a department name and location as an input. So if you can see department number max, I mean this department number is a, we want to increment it as an a plus 10. It is up to us what to increment it, but here we're not passing a department number, so that the department number default it will give as an increment value. So that's what that's why we are planning to maintain it. That's why we are taking a maximum department number here. If it is a null, in case of department number is null, we are 0 we are considering it, and plus 10, so that if no value exists also we are going to add as an a 10 as an a department number. So that's it about the stored procedure. The same we are going to execute it here using this. So exec, so we are going to department number. Before to execute this, I want to show it to you what are the department current department number dpt table having a values here. So now till 50 values are there. Now I'm going to execute the stored procedure. Completed. Now I want to a minute, this is called a compilation creation of stored procedure. Now if I want to execute it, one row is affected. So if you can see it, now the sixth department automatically 60 is added. The department name as a research and as an a Hyderabad is an a location is added. So The difference in the stored procedure is, in stored procedure you can do select statements, you can do delete statements, you can do update statements, you can do insert statements, any DML operations we can do in the stored procedure. Okay, keep this point is noted so that in the next session we'll discuss about functions, how we are going to proceed on that functions, we'll discuss about it.